Pops and the Rican.
Pops and the Rican.
Look at this. Pops and the Rican. The Pops and the Rican. What's the Pops and the Rican?
Look at the top of his head. Look at this one.
Pops and the Rican.
Pops and Pops.
Well, this is the Pops and the Rican show,
I'm Pops.
Pops.
And
and I'm the Rican, Steve Rivera.
and
Pleasure to meet you.
that makes this the Pops and the Rican
Yes,
show.
there it is. There it
so-
is. It makes this. That's what makes it easy.
So we have a special guest with us, and he came in just for the Pops and the Rican show, and then while he was here, we said, "Hey,
Let's bring him in.
Let's
bring him in.
we should share him. We should share him with some other people." So he was like, "Go ahead and do a show over at Joker's while you're in town."
Right.
You know,
Come on back.
Yeah, do your thing.
Us.
Do what you got to do, and then come roll through.
because that's the kind of we're kind of
how we
givers that
roll.
way.
Right.
We're nice guys.
Indiana's fine.
So let's go ahead and say that. Nobody's going to fall for it, but yes, we're Indiana's finest. That's right.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So
So we got a special guest today. His name is Mario Tory.
Mario Tory, yeah.
You're from Atlanta, right?
Correct. Born in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but I live in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. That's what's
Atlanta's
up.
home.
Okay.
That's home.
That's what's up. It's great to have you on the show, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, we want to just jump right in. I mean, there's a lot of questions we got.
Come on.
But
We'll make this easy.
I mean, come on, because the great thing about it is the fact that first of all, today, and you're probably gonna get this. I don't know about anybody else, but today I was an electrician today. I was
Garbage man.
I was garbage man. I was an Uber Eats because I was going around getting everybody lunch. So I was trucking today,
You see
bro.
what I'm
I was
saying?
trucking. I
You
feel
got
you.
a
I feel
lot
you,
of jobs.
bro. It was intense today, man. It was good.
I love it, man. I love it. That's the thing about it. I think it's me and we carry a lot, but then at the same time, it's like, don't nobody notice.
They don't know.
Like,
They don't know what's up. They don't know what we're going through. They don't see it.
They don't see it.
They don't see it.
They don't see it.
But I appreciate it, man.
at my age,
They don't even see
I
you
fed
at all.
I fed the dog. Does that count?
Yeah, dog trainer.
Right, come on, see?
That's
See,
it.
if that's, they don't
All
know.
them those are job titles. Like, if we could write all that off, we would be good.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I don't. At my age, I don't like to brag, but I fed the dog today.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm showered, so that's
Oh.
Right, that's something too.
hygienist.
Come on, see?
Was I supposed to do that? There's details.
It's not.
There's details I have trouble with.
This is good. This is good.
So
What we like to do is we like to just first of all just ask the questions about the game, right? So the comedy game, and so we start off just asking you when you first. What was that first? Like everybody has that moment. First, it's either like your favorite uncle or someone else in school. They're always looking at you as the go-to guy when you want to make crack jokes and all stuff. So when you first thought this is what I want to do, what was that moment?
Man, and of course, I've been asked this 100 times.
Yeah.
I never saw comedy coming. This wasn't even my
Okay.
plan.
All right.
All right. I just was a easygoing guy, outspoken. I always try to, take challenges and face them head on. But I think at one moment, you get tired of looking for regular jobs. You don't want to just be regular no more. So I moved to Atlanta, like I said. When I moved to Atlanta, that's when my comedy, that was my first time ever going to a comedy club.
Okay.
When I was in Atlanta. I never went to a comedy club. Yeah. So when I went, I was surprised that some people sucked at it and some people was good.
Right.
And I'm thinking like, damn, they get paid for this shit? I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
oh, wow. When is the open mic? So
Okay.
I just started writing down what I thought was funny.
Right.
And I went to open mic. And from there, it was like, it's like an addict. I'm pretty sure. Like
Yeah, because when you get that,
first
yeah,
high, it's like,
you want to jump on it.
oh,
Right.
this it?
Right.
Oh, okay, I like this.
Right.
I'm going to come back next week.
Right.
So it was like a just reoccurring event. I just kept doing. And the next thing you know, man, I got to the point where people liked me, and I was getting booked. And I was sometimes couldn't make it to my job. It was like, but I got this show.
Right.
It's at a half a point. Then it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Screw the job.
Right. Okay.
Just step out on faith
And just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Okay. So it's more like a purpose, like a call. Do you feel like it was? This is who I am.
I think it was.
Okay.
Because it's like I've never quit anything, and I've always took pride in what I did. So when I worked, of course, I was always a hard worker. I was always on time. I was trying to do my thing. But that wasn't me. And I guess when God had you gifted, when it's time to let it sprout, it'll come. He'll show you where it's at. Yeah. So that was like one of my journeys. And I never saw comedy ever. I never saw it at all.
See, okay, that's real, because when I was growing up, the only comedy that I even saw was my father when he would preach, and while he was preaching, he would make everybody roll. And that point, I wasn't listening to what he was saying, but but when it came to comedy,
he can't tell you.
I didn't even care about what he was right. I couldn't tell the sermon, but I was like, okay.
I don't know what he was preaching on, but man, he had a killer punch.
Man, I was like, bro, right. He would just boom, he would hit it. And rolling, I'm like, what is that? Yeah. That's how I grew up. And so it was constantly just looking for that, oh man, I want to make this. Okay, so I'm with my boys, I'm going to make them laugh. I'm over here, I'm going to say something stupid over here. And it was a constant thing. I'm going to say something to the point where at lunchtime, there was always a teacher there to monitoring everybody. He would only let me get up because he won't let me get up to tell jokes. Everybody else got to sit down. But he was like, Steve, you're good. And I'm like, I'll let everybody laugh here in this section. And then I go downstairs to where all the jocks were, and I make them laugh over here. And it was like my thing where I was like, oh, this is what's up. Yeah. So that was my thing. Yeah. I didn't grow up with, the Richard Pryor and all that stuff. I didn't.
Family members was comic.
Right.
Nothing.
See, that's so interesting, because I never, had that conversation with somebody who can understand that, I didn't have those influences till later.
Right.
Like later, then I was like, okay, I want to know the science of this.
Right.
What is the joke science? Like, what is this all about? This whole setup punchline.
Right.
What is this all about? Because I'm just being me. So I don't know what it is to be able to set up.
That's what's the best about natural comics. Because you don't look like you're trying too hard.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just like you would be comfortable. And once you're comfortable, people see that, and you don't want to be struggling on stage and getting on nerves. People see that, and I think, kind of referring back to what you said with preachers, they have a itinerary. They write it down. What they're going to talk about. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Put that right there by the Bible.
Right.
And they go to it.
Right.
So, and it's all in repetition. Well, not repetition, but it's all in that itinerary. But it's all structured, and I think that's kind of like when I pulled the paper out on stage.
Right.
I had a whole list of stuff wrote down that I didn't even get to.
See.
But I had my sermon, so it's kind of like a preacher.
Okay. That's what's up. Because you got a point. You got a point that you're going to make. You got some aspects of what you want to talk about that is important. You're going to come over. That's what I learned, is the way that he was able to go up there and say, okay, I'm going to come with this is my idea. This is what I have, this inspiration. And now I'm going to hit him with this. Oh, but this came over here, and I'm going to hit him with that. And it's just like that rhythm where it's just, okay, I'm feeling that. I see that because the presentation is important. And so seeing that is like, aha. So can I take that same structure? Can I take that same mindset on stage? Yeah. That's interesting, man.
So let me ask you this. When it comes to writing comedy, I know last night you mentioned on stage that you try to do a different set every night when you're doing that, because you're involved in some other things, and we're going to get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a different set every show, when do you write, or how much time are you spending writing, or are you writing on stage?
I jot down topics.
Okay.
And that puts me in the improv position. Because I hadn't wrote the joke yet, but I wrote down the topic. And it's like my points. It's like a point presentation. Okay, I got it. Boom. What I'm going to talk about. I don't know, but I'm going to say it. And when it come out, then I'm just going to wiggle around with it. Because it's like...
So you're freestyling?
Most of the time, but when I'm trying new stuff.
Yeah.
Because that is the challenge that you should have as a comic, to not stay in my same... I watch comics... and I've known, bless their heart, I've known a lot of comics for years, but it's same joke, cookie cutter, every day, different club, same joke,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
That should irk you.
Okay.
As a comic, that should eat you alive.
Right.
I
You
don't
got to be
wanna do
growing.
that.
You got to be.
I don't want to do that no more.
Okay.
When I got to Indianapolis, which was yesterday, I got in yesterday. First thing I do sometimes is a note to a lot of comics. I turn on the news.
See what's going on and get the
See
events.
street names.
Yeah,
see
yeah.
interstate names. See
Yeah.
company names. See the commercials that roll. Boom. So you can go back and just throw in that and be like, how the fuck did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was watching.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what puts the challenge on me as a comic to not stay like everyone else is. Because you can go online and see my whole half-hour special.
Yeah.
Why would I do it in front of you?
Right.
And you're paying $10 to see
Right. That's because and also they say that too. When it's recorded, it's done.
It's done.
And so it's like
the
it's
past.
now, yeah.
I've done it already.
Right, and I guess only true fans will come to see you because they're like, oh, that one joke. I hope he says
And
it.
then you get some people,
but
and like what you just said, you get some fans. I go to certain cities, do the what's the name
Yeah,
joke, and it's
yep.
like, oh, they know. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna do it. And then
Right.
it's like, because I
Right.
didn't do it anyway.
Well, it's like if you go to see the Beatles in concert,
you want to know what they're gonna sing?
you might want to have them do.
Don't lie, bro. You
Yellow
go see
Submarine.
Cardi B. Don't lie, bro. You
Yeah.
don't lie.
Yeah.
You go see Cardi B, bro.
I we can see Cardi B. She can say the same shit.
But yeah, I mean, you do have something that you want to hear because you enjoyed it, and so there are some of those things that when I'm talking with other comics or young comics, don't be afraid
Don't.
to do a
fail.
bit. Don't be afraid to do a bit that the audience is wanting you to do.
Man,
But at the same time,
yeah.
keep writing new material
Yeah.
because you'll get bored with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
then even with writing, you don't need a pen and a paper. Everybody has a phone. I jot down. I have a list of
Yep.
notes, just
Yep.
ideas. I mean, like I may hear my wife or my kids say something silly. I'm like,
Right. Ooh, I got it. Ooh, yep.
Then I can come back, add
Right.
some, or throw some pepper and some salt on it,
Right.
and try to sprinkle it up.
Right.
And that's what it is, because it's just new occurring events every day. Everything happens new every day. How you can't write something new?
Right. I mean,
What the
that
hell?
is so true.
There's new stuff that happens every day.
So did you get to a point where how long have you been doing comedy?
11 years.
Okay, so in the beginning of your career, were you writing everything down and you had a set, you were thinking, okay, this is my set. Is it well? Obviously, it's easier now to just come up with okay, this is the topic, and I'm just going to flow off that.
Right.
What point was it? Like later on in the career? Was it like after the 9th year, you was like, oh, I can start doing this now, or did you start freestyling at the get?
I started spreading myself across, if it makes sense, like when you make a sandwich, you spread yourself all the way across to the edges. Because sometimes when you start in the game, like when I started 11 years ago, the topics that other comics had were the same. Everybody talked about the same
Right,
thing. Everybody
right.
talked about Trump. Everybody talked about
right, exactly.
It was like in the news. R.
Yep.
Kelly's in
Yep.
the Trump.
Yep.
The Robert Kraft. All that. So if you think back 11 years ago, at some point, I would go to a show and I would hear a guy do a joke and I'd be like, oh shit, I was going to do that. I was going to do that topic. It ain't the same joke, but I was going to do that topic.
still,
And I'm
right,
like, damn, I ain't
right,
gonna do it.
exactly.
I'm not going to do it. Then you keep listening because you might be like 56 on the list. And then you hear somebody else who's like, shit, he said my other joke. All right, let me find something else.
Right.
So then I started this is what helped me too. I started to not sit down and watch the comedy show no more. Because I felt like once I heard it, I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So after a while, I was
yeah.
like, you know what? I'm going to go outside. I ain't
just
even
gonna-
watch this
right,
shit. Y'all
just
call me when
do-
you're ready.
right.
So then when I got a chance to come back in,
It's a fresh new.
right.
That's
like we might have
man.
talked about the same stuff, but my delivery and my joke was different.
Different, okay.
So I kind of got out of there. But then, things get familiar. Everybody started doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what made me start listening to other people and being unique. Because sometimes, man, people are funny. Like your cousins or your grandma,
Right,
your
right,
mama.
right.
Just call people sometimes. Sometimes you can get jokes out of people that they don't even think that you writing shit down. You doing the
It's still, but right.
and you just write it down. Oh, you said
we
what?
record it.
Next thing you know, you got a whole joke.
See, that's what we were talking about before too. Is that when you're with your boys, man, you got material like
All
crazy,
day.
right?
All day.
Exactly, and you could just take what they're getting and like, oh, now it's a matter of filtering that to where you can go up on stage and be like, oh, all of y'all are my boys right now because
Yeah.
I'm about to throw this down,
Throw 'em.
whether
Yeah.
whether you can give it or not. This is how I am around my peeps, and this is how comfortable I am around them. So you're gonna have to get comfortable with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that approach is different. And it's just, I can relate so much with that because my boys back in Chicago, Brent
Is that
Stackhouse. Yeah, I'm from Chicago. So my boy over there, like, I'll go with him and like 3 other guys, man. And we were always just clowning. And they, two of, like me and, Brent and I, we just jumped on the comedy thing. But the rest of the guys, every time we hang out with them, dude, it's always something where it's like, man, I gotta take this down.
Yeah.
So with that, I get excited about this because I'm like, this is something that is so real because some of the comics that are out here now, like you were saying, they come up and they got their set. This is the 5 minutes that I've been working on for I don't know how long. And they're afraid of jumping into something new.
Or adding something to it. Sometimes it's good to add the new joke in between the jokes that you know that work. Just try it. I mean, what's the least you can do? I mean, you still got 5 minutes. Either you're going to get, excuse me, like either you're booked or whatever. If you booked on the show, you still got the same amount of time. Even if one joke fails, it don't feel like, and this is a thing too I don't like about comedy. If your joke fails, don't beat the crowd up. Oh, y'all a tough crowd.
Well, that's,
no, the shit just didn't work. Oh, you got to restructure it. No, it ain't their fault.
Right.
So that's a lot of times, a lot of comics beat the crowd up. Oh, tough crowd. No. You tried it didn't work.
It didn't work. Right.
Rearrange it. Yeah.
Come with a different point of
And
view perspective.
I say this a lot that if you know that you've got a topic or a bit that you've done a version of and you throw it out and it kills 90% of the time, and then that particular time it doesn't catch with that audience.
Right.
It's not that the bit isn't funny,
Exactly.
and it's not that the audience they're not morons. It's just it wasn't what they wanted
At the moment.
for them to laugh at that moment. Yeah. So you just okay, I'm gonna put that back here and I'm gonna keep going forward.
And I'm gonna polish it up a little bit.
Right. Right.
It's not you, it's not the audience. It's just that wasn't the bit right then that they needed or
that
they
worked.
wanted.
Right. Exactly. Well, I'm learning that
You
now.
just keep moving forward and
Just keep chipping at it. Like you only get better when you just keep trying it. It's nothing. There's no science to it. It's like you have to try new shit.
Right.
I don't care where you at. Try it. Just try it.
And you would say, I think that's every advice we've gotten so far is just go to every open mic you can when you're starting, because we got a lot of not a lot, but listeners that have that.
And also, do college and church shows. See, that gets you to where you see. To be honest, I've done shows at church, like church events and church and birthdays and stuff, that are clean.
Yeah.
And I've done better than I did when I couldn't curse.
Okay, see, now we're going to dip into that point where we always have this conversation. The differences between working clean and, and also, you have your blue material.
Right.
Now we've always been proponents of that, where clean is green. You're going to do more work if you can work clean.
Right.
And you
can work anywhere.
You can work pretty much anywhere. Right.
Yep.
So it's a good point that you brought up, the fact that you could do churches and also, colleges. So the question is, would it be smart for a comedian, which I know that it should be, but I'm going to get your opinion, to write with that understanding that I could take this bit and transform it, whether I want to do it for a club or I'm going to do it for a church.
Write it clean, because of course you ain't going to write cuss words.
Yeah.
Just write it clean.
And then put in your own
flavor on it. Just write it clean.
In the moment when it's appropriate, if you're in a
then
church,
you can. Yeah.
You
ain't gonna be cussing out.
You're like,
Of course.
Sister Gladys,
you gonna call out Gladys?
let's talk about that coochie.
Right.
No.
So you have to stay away from that. You'll be like, hey, church.
That's what's up. Yeah.
So, but you can take a joke that works in a church.
Yeah.
It works in a corporate event. It works at a college. and you could take it on stage at Joker's, and
And just
in
transform
the
that.
moment, if they're wanting, if you feel the audience is
Yeah.
just ready to roll with a bunch of dick jokes and pussy jokes,
Then it's like what?
then
Then that's what they
Then
do.
what?
Yeah.
then roll with it.
Right.
But I say it all the time. I can take a set that I've just done at a church, or I've just done for a corporate event.
Right.
And I can take that same set, and
Take
I
it
can
to the club.
and
Oh,
I can
man.
walk into the club, and I can get as raunchy as I want, and then take that same set the next night and go back to a church event because I wrote it clean and because I know that it's going to work that way.
So now right.
I can take it and just have all kinds of fun, on stage at a club,
Yeah.
and then turn around and use that same approach at a church, and not have to worry about screwing up,
Right.
and going, so Pastor, I was saying, what the fuck is it? Sorry about
Don't even write it like this.
No, no.
Don't write it like that. It's
Right.
not gonna come
Yeah.
out like this.
So-
And you'll get comfortable with it. And,
Yep.
and I, like you said, I've actually had a lot of fun doing clean shows. That you have to.
Right.
Don't think
right.
church like when people think of church. Oh, I gotta talk about the Lord. No,
See, right.
Talk
It
about
just be-
real, relevant,
Exactly.
subjects. That
Right.
Everyone in that church, the
They can
building
relate with because we're all in the same
is
boat.
human.
Right. Right. Come
Yeah.
on, man. That's real. That's good because when we were running Gutty's Comedy Club up in Illinois, we actually
Is it
ran
still
this.
open?
That's what we're doing right now.
Oh.
Actually, we're establishing
Where's
it
that?
here in Illinois. That's the thing is we're building it now here in
Gotcha.
Indiana. So I
So it's
started
gonna be
in
you guys'
Illinois
club?
right now.
Great.
We're trying to make that happen here in Indy. The response has been great as far as like the comics that have been going through. So we actually have a show tonight that we do at a coffee house right now. So we're establishing that.
What time does it start?
It starts at 6, from 6 to 8.
It ends at what? Ends at
6 to 8
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Is it a pretty nice crowd?
Well, that's the thing. It's a comedy, or it's a coffee house. So we had a nice little. We're doing like a variety show right now. So we do bring
Wow. You know,
comedy,
I
and then
may
we do.
come rock with you guys.
That would be.
3, 4, yeah.
That's what's
Because
up.
I can leave there and still go to.
And we were gonna end up doing that too. We're gonna
I was gonna
after
say,
the show. We're gonna
Our
catch the show.
plan is to bounce from there
To-
and
to
get down to Joker's,
Send me the address. I'll come.
because we want to catch footage of your show tonight,
Got you.
so that we can.
Kind of. Got you.
Right. So the whole idea, right? So when I created Gutty's, it was with that intent
Okay.
for clean comedy because
Well,
I
let
wanted
me-
to make a club that
Let me
had
know
that.
tonight, and I open up with the clean bits, and then you record it.
Oh man,
So you don't have to worry about
that's
no
what's
cursing
up.
on it.
That's
Yeah,
what's up.
yeah.
That's what's up.
We'll, if you come by to Brick House, we'll say, hey everybody, we got a
Yes,
special
special
guest.
guest, yes.
And
That's
he's going
what's
to come
up.
up and he's going to do the entire show. Then we're going to
And
leave.
we're gonna leave, and then
Right,
catch him,
we'll
and then catch him at
catch him
Joker's.
again.
and all you guys that we
Take notes.
all you guys that we put on the flyer saying you guys were going
I
to
just got bumped. No,
You're not.
no.
You know.
It's all good, man. We got
Like,
good.
oh,
Yeah,
man.
we
Who is this
who's this right coming in taking our spot? No, it's all good.
That's what you get when celebrities walk in the door. You know.
No respect. No, it's all good.
That'd be
Yeah,
dope.
yeah,
That'd be super
it'll be
dope.
fun, man.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you this: you've been doing comedy for a while, and then all of a sudden you got noticed,
Yeah.
and you're doing, and you've become more of
Yeah.
a celebrity,
Right.
You know, and
Don't feel like it. Not just. I got a partner in the front of it.
I was going to say,
Right, get it told.
you got to worry about getting
No,
towed
no, right.
at Joker's.
I don't think I made it. You know you made it when your shit don't get told.
Until I can get dropped out by a helicopter on top
Right.
of the building,
I ain't made it.
I ain't talking about it.
Tell me a little bit about the transition. How did that all come about?
Yeah.
Timing.
Okay.
Because it wasn't, believe me, it wasn't. I'm pretty sure every comic in here wishes, oh man, I want to get on TV. I want to get on
Yeah.
TV. That was, I didn't even see it coming, but it was like, it was a great opportunity. I was blessed. I actually was in Birmingham at Stardome. I was doing a show. A manager got a call and said, hey man, Heart of the City called you, Kevin Hart. They wanted you to shoot the series Heart of the City in Atlanta tomorrow. But I was booked for the whole weekend in Birmingham. So, of course, I stopped there and let everybody know I won't be there.
Yeah.
And I shot back to Atlanta. And what was surprising with the Heart of the City, I know a lot of comics auditioned. A lot of them did.
Yeah.
We shot the first season, first episode in Atlanta. First episode, first season. So they didn't have an audition type format for the whole city of Atlanta for them to choose. They didn't do that.
Oh.
They went through the city of Atlanta and chose comics that were not on TV.
Wow. Okay.
So a lot of comics that were in Atlanta, which is city full of great
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah. For real. That's
A lot
the
of them
scene
have
is
been on
insane.
TV
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Right.
Def Jam, BET's Comic View. Some of them have done, HBO, all kind of stuff. And they actually chose me because I was funny and I hadn't been on TV yet.
Okay.
So that's how I got
That's
chosen.
respect. Well, at least you
Yeah,
had that
I was like,
opportunity,
wow.
man.
Yeah, I don't even know how my name even got in the pot. But somebody's always talking about you. If you're a decent, good person, people are going to talk about
That's
you.
where the network comes in, right?
That's where it comes in.
See, okay.
And then when I got chose for that, they absolutely loved me. I had a great time. Awesome set on Heart of the City. Then I got the call back that they were selecting certain comics out of the whole Heart of the City seasons, 1 and 2, to shoot a half-hour special. And I was one of them that got chose to shoot a half-hour special in L.A. The Next Level, and that was produced
Next
by
Level,
Kevin
yep.
Hart. Yeah.
Yep.
So, great young man. Kevin Hart's cool down to earth. He likes to give young comics an opportunity because that's where that's what we are. We're comics trying to get on TV. And
Right.
a lot of people can't do it.
Right.
A lot of people like, who doesn't want to be on TV?
Right.
But you don't have the BT Comic View no more. You don't have the Def Jam platform no more. You don't
Right.
have all of that you can get on. So he really set a platform for us to shine.
You just
Come
have
on,
the Pops
get
and
that
Rican
opportunity.
show.
And then you-
That's if you about right
Yeah.
because you
You
can
got
get
the late
online,
night talk shows.
right?
Yeah,
You
it
can go
is.
online YouTube. You can start now. That's like your place, the new platform is that you have to put yourself
Social
out there
media
like
and all
that.
this stuff. So a lot
Yeah,
of these cats are really, really making a big step in the social media world. But I think I squeezed in right at the right time to get that special on TV. Just right there. Because if probably if it was a year earlier or a year later, I never would have did it. I never would have did it. It was all about time. I just think it was my time.
wow,
Yeah.
that's so.
And I think that's an important thing because we have a lot of newer comics that will listen to the podcast or watch us on YouTube that giving people that understanding that that your time is now. Don't worry about when is my time coming.
Man,
Be in the
ready
moment.
now,
Be
be ready.
ready in the moment.
Right,
So
right.
when Kevin Hart calls and says, "Hey, we'd like you to come over for this show,"
Just taping, yeah.
okay, I'm
ready.
going to jump. I'm going
Right.
to go.
Yeah.
And then if somebody else gets that opportunity, if Mario gets the opportunity and you didn't, then don't whine about it.
It just wasn't your
Be
time.
be
Right.
happy. Celebrate the fact that Mario was in that moment and got it, and keep moving forward.
Keep pressing,
and
right,
Looking,
'cause it's-
looking for those
right.
moments and those times when it's going to be the right time, the right moment for you,
Right.
for
That's good.
somebody else.
That's good.
Yeah,
That
because
is good.
it is. It's really all about, like you were saying, timing. And I know Paul was saying it earlier, work on that 5-minute set, work on that 8-minute set.
Yeah.
And I had my set together. So
See, I was going to ask
I
you
was
too.
already together.
Right. So I was going to ask you that too as well. How much material did you have in your pocket where you were like ready?
I think they gave all of us 15 minutes and they chopped it down to 8.
Okay.
But the jokes that I had were about my 2 kids.
Yeah.
At the time, police, the brutality, and those 3 jokes just took me almost 15 minutes. Just how you structure, and I already knew going in what I was going to talk about. And luckily, we take the Heart of the City in Atlanta, which is my city, it was phenomenal.
Right.
So the crowd knew me, but they didn't know who I was.
Right.
They're like, I know him. I think I heard him.
Right.
Like, oh, now I know who he is. So it's like, the material was awesome. The taping was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
an experience.
It was experience. And then to kind of piggyback on what I was saying earlier about writing, have different jokes, leave stuff alone. Because when I take the Heart of the City, I couldn't do the same jokes that I did on Heart of the City on the Next Level. They told me that. They said you can't do it.
Wow.
So it's like the Next Level was half hour. So now I got to do 30 minutes
Yep.
of new shit.
material. Yep. Yep.
So, but I had it.
Okay.
Because I was working.
You were
this,
set.
working
Yeah.
this, look at this. So when I did my half-hour special, I talked about flying airplanes and not really making it because I'm still flying cheap.
Right.
Shit like that.
Like the pills, medication. You did that bit about the side effects.
Side effects,
Yeah.
I did that.
Yep.
Talked about the jobs. That's where I got that joke from.
Right,
Man,
okay.
We were exterminators, porn stars.
Yep.
I got that. I
Yep.
did that on my half-hour special. So it was like, it was just, I was ready.
Right.
Yeah.
I was ready.
Yeah.
And that's what you need as
That's exciting.
any entertainer. Just be ready. You don't know who's going to call you.
Wow.
And I find
encouraging.
myself saying that to comics all the time.
Yeah.
Is if you can work on your tight five, and then keep that tight five,
Keep it
but
in the
then-
pocket.
but
Right.
then work on another tight five, and eventually you got 6 tight fives, and you're
You
doing
said
a
you got
30-minute
30-minute
set.
There you go.
So when Kevin,
Watch it together.
so when,
I mean,
Kevin,
but it
when
is-
Kevin Hart calls and says, "Hey, do you have an old man and a Puerto Rican that we can call in to be on the show?"
To
with
be
you?"
honest, right.
I'm like, yeah, I got 2 guys. They got the time already together. They got the show already.
They're set. They set.
They set.
Yeah.
And so you're ready when the time comes.
When the
Yeah.
time comes.
So be doing the work on your tight five, and then do as many tight fives as you need to. I mean, if you're wanting to do a 45-minute headline set, then do
You're
enough,
set, right,
enough
right.
tight fives to do that plus.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be the advocate here and say it's easier said than done sometimes to get a tight five.
Yeah, it is.
Because to work for 5 minutes, you got to put in some
I'm
hours.
thinking about something right now I'm doing tonight.
See,
Okay, go ahead.
you could put in some hours for that 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like to build that tight five. I would think before I wasn't even thinking about tight five. I'm like, I need to get 10.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get another 10 and then another 10. So now to have to like bring it down to that 5, the reason why I say that is because for me, I'm a little bit more of a storyteller. So I can see that my 5 is not, I can't really like crunch it all in 5, but I can get it close to 10
Right.
with this one bit or with this one joke.
Story, right? Because you got a story that may last 6-7 minutes.
Right. So so developing that 10 was a lot easier for me to say, okay, this actually makes sense.
Right.
Because I could put that in. But it's still 10 minutes
Right.
that you got to have something that's solid.
Right.
So it's just a matter of just getting up there and putting in the work.
But
Make it work.
Spice it together, man, and it's easy to rock. Well, it's not easy. I'm saying because comedy is like one of the jobs, man. It's like you a suicide bomber, damn near. It's like you strapping shit on your chest, you going up there,
Ready
you
to
might
get-
work and it
right,
might not work.
right.
But the humiliation is there, it's present. But at the same time, the championship is there. Like you get that trophy when you're
Man,
done. Like,
yeah,
thank you.
right.
But it's not promising, it's not guaranteed.
Okay, then when it goes into, the fact that, let's say, for example, you kill in Michigan or you kill over there in Atlanta, you come to Indiana and it doesn't hit. How do you work the crowd? How do you know how to work the right crowd and work to that crowd?
By having jokes already in your pocket to smooth shit over, like to
See,
you
okay.
can have some white jokes, you can
Yeah.
have some black jokes, you can have some old lady jokes, but you have to then, if it's not working, kind of just, okay, let me just see. Where you from? What's your name? Oh, okay, cool. And you just piggyback off her.
Okay,
Try
that's-
to make everybody feel, okay, I'm comfortable, I'm home.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I was going to say too as well that when I saw your set, how easy it is for you to just be involved with the crowd. You're like to be able to get into this person in front. I'm just going to ask you about this. And when you did that bit where you're spending about $300, and you're like, okay, how much for $245?
Right.
Okay, bring this person over here. Okay, you gonna add it up for me. It's
Right.
like bringing them into that.
Yeah.
Made it easier to be like, okay, they're with me. And so is it almost like giving them an opportunity to be a part of that?
Yeah.
Kind of gives them like a sense of, I'm a part of
'Cause
this, and they support that.
Imagine how terrified some people are when it comes to a comedy show, and they're sitting on the front.
Right,
Oh,
right. Especially in the front, they're like,
Right.
he's gonna get on me.
Shit, I hope
Yeah,
I'm saying that.
he go.
But then when you start, when you don't even acknowledge them, but you come back and talk to them, they're like, oh, he's not even talking about us. He's talking to
Okay,
us.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a big difference.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big, huge
And they're
difference.
like, well, what the fuck you doing? Look at
Yeah,
him with
yeah,
the shirt. Like,
yeah.
I don't do that. I don't segregate the crowd. I want everybody to be right here. Listen, let's have some fun, let all that bullshit go. We're gonna just party a little bit.
That's what's up.
That's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
And you put them at great ease. So they were more than into responding to you,
Right.
but they weren't necessarily jumping into your
Right.
set. Because a lot of times when I've done some crowd work and you make somebody feel real comfortable,
Yeah.
sometimes they want to just throw themselves in
Right,
for every
Then they get out
every,
with it.
every
You said
bit you're
this.
doing. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going to throw myself in here now. And,
Right.
But last night, watching you work,
Yeah.
you would ask a question, they would respond, you would move on. And they were just following where you
Right.
were going. They weren't
it
trying
was
to.
just this
They weren't trying to get in
involvement.
front of you and jump up and say,
Yeah.
"I want to add something else
Yeah,
to your
yeah,
joke." You know?
yeah.
So
Right.
it was fun to watch.
Right. Right.
And I thought you did just an extreme
That's-
great job of just putting the audience at ease to really sit back and enjoy and have fun with you because you were having fun.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Totally.
For real.
And that's another thing I say all the time. If you're having fun, the audience is going to have fun.
They're going to enjoy it.
And you were having so much fun, and the audience was just, hey, we're along for the ride,
Yeah.
and
We're
we're going to just everybody's having fun.
Yeah.
So,
It was great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's cool.
So let me ask you this: when you look back at your career up to this point in comedy, what piece of advice did somebody give to you that you look back at and you say, that's probably the best advice I got? What's the best advice somebody's given to you to help you get where you are today?
Move around. Get out of your city. Because you can be Atlanta funny all day. It might work in Atlanta. And you don't want to get stuck thinking that all the jokes that I have got to be about Atlanta or it's relevant to Atlanta. Because if you get out of your city, it gives you a chance to see and do and feel and hear.
That's real.
Rub your elbow.
That's
just get
real.
out your city.
Yeah. That's
Because
real.
you should. You owe yourself that much and say, you know what, I'm going to hit every spot that I can possibly hit. It's not easy. And it's not a promising career. Don't get into it for the money. Don't. You don't. If it was about the money, I'd have quit a long time ago. I just did it because I loved it. And I knew eventually money would come. That's not a problem. I'm like, if you love something long enough, just stay with it. It'll happen. Don't get into it for the money, though. That's what I did not do.
Man, that's good. That's good because essentially you're just thinking, am I just being me? Because this is me.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
This is me.
Rather than it just being something where I got to do it. It becomes a
job.
A
more than
job.
just
Right.
Just having fun.
Like I'm
And
just
sometimes
being me.
I wake up thankful, like, damn, I'm glad that I can do this. And I'm happy doing it. And I just take that everywhere I go and just enjoy myself.
And then there's those mornings he wakes up in Indianapolis and he's like, what am I doing?
What am I?
Why am I in Indianapolis?
What is going on? Like it's
And
in.
it surprised me. I was like, why the fuck is it raining? I woke up
Right.
like,
It's raining.
it's
Dude,
raining hard, man.
weather here is
I didn't know I
ridiculous.
was in
man.
Oregon.
You're
For
right.
real.
What is this, Miami?
Horrible. Seattle, man.
Yes, it's cold.
Seattle.
Where are we at? But it's amazing, man, to see other comics too. Like working with you guys. It's my first time meeting Paul. I didn't know who he was ever. So it's good to rub elbows with comics, network. I heard Paul talk about that too, and kind of just getting contact information with people. Because when you go to these cities, you just hit people up. Hey, I'm in your city. Hey, I'm in your city. Hey, I'm in your city. Where the open mics? Oh, we got a so-and-so. And just go. Like, sometimes I go to California just to go. Like I said, get out my city.
Right.
I can take a flight during the week and I just go and I hit the open mics Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Just get out the city.
Yeah.
And I just come on back. You know what I'm saying? It gives your city time to miss you. It gives you time to expand your thought process when it comes down to writing.
Yeah.
And it gives you a chance to meet other people. So it's like I take that wholeheartedly. Get out of your city. Just move. Just keep moving. Yeah.
So what's
That's
next
what's
for
up.
you?
Yeah.
Well, I got a tour actually coming up with Shula King, J.J. Williamson, and Miss Jen out of Jacksonville. We got a tour together. We got like 15 cities we do. And that's starting. I think our first city is Little Rock. And we got Memphis, and then we're gonna take a whole little Miami. I got a lot of cities. And then I'm writing film now. Writing a film now. I got an animation me and my son are getting ready to write.
Nice.
He came up with a dope idea about
Yeah.
a cartoon. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's
Yeah.
brilliant. So we're gonna write that. I'm doing some voiceovers. I did a voiceover demo maybe like a couple months ago, and I'm I'm trying to land a commercial. If I can land
Yeah.
just one good commercial, I think I'd be okay.
Okay.
And I've done. Then I did commercials with Church's Chicken. I did that, but I want to get like. I had a couple readings for Chevy. I had a couple readings for Scotch Tape. I just want to land one of those.
Okay.
If I can land one of those,
Yeah.
I think I feel. And that's what I really want to get into, like voiceovers, cartoon characters,
Yeah.
the games, all this EA game, all the sport, all that
Tell me
shit.
what's in. It's what's in now.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
my daughter's she does a lot of graphic design or digital art, so she wants to get into character development and voiceovers and all that
She
stuff
should.
too. Man,
That's where
telling
money
you.
is at.
Yeah, that's
Because like
good.
sometimes I think like stand-up comedy will open up the door for other things. You have to
Right.
take that platform and just venture out in different ways.
Okay,
Like,
so that goes into the. Okay, so how important is it for a comic to not just take stand up, seriously, but to expand in other parts that will kind of like support, the whole comedy venture, like owning up your own, comedy club or starting your own room or,
that is a big
connecting.
thing. I love
Yeah.
that. So you guys are doing an amazing thing. That's my dream too. Own a comic club.
Right.
But it's very important because comedy is there. You can make a living off of it. But some days you might be sitting down. Some weeks you might be sitting down. You might not have a show
Right.
on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday. What are you doing?
Then what? Right. Right.
Are you writing? Write a movie. Jot a
Stay
premise down.
moving. Yeah. Yeah.
Try, like you said, open a comedy club.
Yeah.
Or take an acting class. Even though you're a comic, take an acting class. Go to some auditions. I don't give a fuck if you're an extra. Just go.
Yeah.
Like, open up your phone and try something. I don't care what it is that's got to do with entertainment, because being in the comedy world, you can find somebody that owns a camera.
Right.
You can find somebody that graphic design.
Right.
You might find somebody that owns a comedy club. And it's like, oh, hey, man, I got an idea. Oh, man, I got this. Oh, it's like, oh, I like this shit. So, and that's one reason, too, like I said, I was writing a couple scripts. Because when I go back and forth to L.A., I'm kind of rubbing elbows with people. Because I want to get these scripts off.
Right.
And that's the best place to do it.
So that network is important.
Yeah.
That network is your network.
The network is your network. And it's very, very, very important. I don't have a whole bunch of money, but I got a lot of good people.
That's
A
what's
lot
up.
of good people.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of good people. Yeah.
That's cool.
And
I like it. That's good, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't have a lot of money at all.
Man,
I
but
got
still,
a lot of
good.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people.
It's opportunity.
And by finding all these opportunities of things that you enjoy doing and you enjoy trying, that you're expanding your own ability to be more creative.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you're writing a script that includes an old man and a Puerto Rican,
Gotta pop.
You got to throw it in there,
then
man.
in your network, you already know. Hey, I've got an old man and a Puerto Rican. We can just write them into the script, and then when it comes time to film, they'll be right there because they're ready.
And
so,
you know what? That's
up?
my angle too with the movies that I'm writing.
Yeah.
Because how many comics are actually writing films?
Right.
Got several. But how many comics are actually writing films and putting comics in them? Like Adam Sandler does it a lot. Eddie Murphy does it a lot. You got what's his name? Superbad. What's his name?
Michael Cera?
No, Superbad. He did
No.
Superbad, and he wrote Kick Ass. What was his name?
Oh, you got me.
Anyway, those guys cast a lot of comics.
Yeah.
Because it's their network. That's their people.
Right.
That's my brothers. That's my
Right.
family.
Well, I mean, who's better to be able to do it, to be able to at least bring the funny?
Bring the funny.
Than, yeah,
And it's
those
like,
who know
that's
how to
my
dish
thing.
it.
I want to put a lot of my people in these movies that don't nobody know. And they're like, what the fuck? This
Right.
movie is funny, but I don't know none of these people.
Right.
It gives everybody a chance to shine.
That's what's up, man.
and it's about taking and helping others rise with you. And so many times in the comedy scene, you can find those places where the politics and the crabs and
They're trying to pull
where
it down.
they're trying
Yeah,
to-
one guy's gonna get he just got this and got that, so now he's the stuff, and it's like, okay, we're all in this
We're all in it
together.
together.
Come
But
down.
when you're doing something that's going to help
Yeah.
raise others around you and raise the level of comedy around you, it's only going to make it better for you and so have some fun doing it.
Yeah.
And,
Make it happen.
so whether you're writing a script for a movie or you're coming up with an idea for for a short film, whatever.
Right. Get it in.
Write it
Get 2 or
and
3
get ready to
people
do
to
it.
say, hey guys, let's sit down and write.
Yeah.
And then, because people bounce off each other and the ideas are amazing. This is what I found too, who has some of the most brilliant ideas ever when it comes down to writing. And take my word for it. Get you a woman.
Huh.
While you're writing something, get her point of view. Because women see shit totally
Way
than we
different.
do.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
when you
Good
listen
point.
to them, it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? That shit
Yeah.
is, you are the shit. And it's like, damn. I sit down with my wife and I just throw her my ideas. What you think about
Man.
this? What you think about that? She's like, nah.
Right.
Well, try it this way.
Right.
You know what? This right.
Dude, that's all day at home too. It's like
at
I'm,
home.
my wife's like, well, do your set. And I'm like, I can't really do it in front of you right now.
That shit be
But
funny.
look,
Because I can't
let
do
me
nothing
just,
right in front of her. I'm like, man, look, babe, I can't do this.
just let me just tell you what it is.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and just do the whole set. She's like, all right, then what is it?
Let
You
me
know,
hear it.
and you're right. Her point of view, she'll come and say, okay, why don't you say it this way?
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't even say that.
Yeah, don't even say
Just
and then
put that out.
What is that?
Right.
I tell you
No.
what, try it this way. Or, how about we just don't even do that?
Don't even
Just-
do it. Right. Take
Yeah.
take it out. Take
My
that
wife,
piece out.
she's
That's
help-
interesting.
She's helping me write the script that I'm writing. She has brilliant ideas.
That's awesome.
It's phenomenal. I was like, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Because it's a team, too. When you have a family, your wife and your spouse or whoever that you have, bring them into it. Because that's who you deal with the most.
Right.
That's where you at the most. And
Right.
it's like, hey, I'm writing something. Take 20, 30 minutes. Come sit down with me. Boom. And as we maybe get some coffee or drink or whatever. And let's write something. What you think about this? I'm going to let you read this and you tell me what you think. And then, yeah.
Right. It gives them a sense of purpose too, as well, with you, because you're
And
in the
listen
squad.
to your kids.
Right. They got their.
Oh my
They
God.
yeah, man. That's
They're the most energetic little pieces of work ever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to them sometimes. Watch
Yeah.
them. Just watch them. That's why.
That's some of my materials. It's
right,
my
some of
kids.
mine, too.
I'm like, I got to
You
write
see
it
when I
down.
was doing a little dance.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, y'all look retarded.
It's so
Like, it's
true.
really
It's so true.
But it's
Especially
funny.
with Fortnite out, because now they got these dances in. My son's doing it, and I'm like, bro, you look stupid.
Bro, you look real.
You look
stupid.
real stupid.
I'm like, do the dance.
But
again.
he's in.
and I can't even do it. I'll be like, I look stupid. What happened to this? What happened to this? What happened to grinding?
Right.
Hey, I was just jumping. I'm like, y'all look real crazy. I'm like, what y'all do? So that's why there's a lot of stuff you get from your kids.
For real,
man.
yeah.
It's very. You got a lot of comedy is everywhere around. You.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
yeah.
Well, my son,
How old is he?
he's 21, and he was basically he was going to school for business, and then he called me one day and said, "Hey, pops, I'm dropping out of college." And I'm like, okay.
What
wow.
you doing?
Well,
Yeah, like what?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And he said, I want to become a comedian.
Really?
And I was like, oh, what? The boy wants
go
to follow in Pop's footsteps. And then I was thinking, oh my God, he's going to follow in my footsteps.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
But now, he's moved out to Portland because the Portland comedy scene's a pretty happening place.
Wow.
And he wanted to kind of be out where he wasn't necessarily, under my shadow.
Right.
He wanted to expand.
Exactly.
It's not as a comedy in comedy. I don't have a big
Shadow. You still
but
cast
as
in
an
shadow.
old fat man, I have a huge shadow.
Shadow,
And he's like, I don't want to be in that shadow.
Right.
So now he's out in Portland.
Wow.
And when he and I get on the phone and talk, he is. I've said it all. The kid's 20 times more clever than I ever have
That's a
been.
trip.
And so he and I will be talking, and just stuff is rolling, and I'm like, this kid is just hilarious.
Yeah.
And so I find myself. So I need to ask: Are you writing this down because you're going to have a bit out of this,
Right.
Or am I getting this?
I'm gonna take this.
Look, I'm gonna write that down.
Because if
he in Portland.
Right.
because if you're not using this, I sure am. So,
And that's dope too, because like you said, your son left.
Yeah.
He left.
yeah.
You got to leave your city sometime.
Yeah.
You got to.
That's so true.
And that's where when you were talking about get out of your city, get out of your place, and find a fresh. It's so true, and he's kicking it out there and having a blast,
Yeah.
and
Right.
am so proud of
Great.
the fact that he was just like, you know what?
I'm gonna do this.
I don't know anybody in Portland.
Yeah.
I don't have any security in Portland, but I'm heading out to Portland because
Right.
I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he's doing it. And as a dad, I'm always like, so are you paying your lot rent?
Yeah.
And
What's your son's name?
Jake Tooley.
Jake too.
Jake.
Yeah. And
Doing big things.
and then I always when I'm teaching comedy college, which is a workshop that I try to
That's
teach,
dope, too.
and when I'm teaching that, I always say to the young comics, find a way to introduce yourself when you get on stage that will help them remember you long after you're gone, because that's important. And then so my son gets up in his very first set, and he does a bit about being Jake, and how he hates State Farm because everybody's look, it's Jake from State Farm. He's like, well, screw you, I don't and then he jumps on with our last name is Tooley. And I had noticed this, but I had not done anything with it. And he comes out, he's like, yeah, my last name's Tooley. So screw you, self or autocorrect, because if you type in our last name, you type in our name on a phone, it autocorrects it to toilet.
So yeah.
So then he gets done with that first set that he does, and he's so I'm Jake from State Farm Toilet, and I was
Good
like,
night. They're gonna remember that.
He's gonna remember. People are
They're
gonna
gonna remember that.
Jake too.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
Jake Toilet.
Right,
So,
Jake Toilet.
So I'm like, the kid's gonna make it, and
that's
and,
dope.
He's out
and,
there flying.
and I'm hoping that he becomes hugely successful, because I need
You have to. You need somebody.
That's my retirement plan.
Somebody.
My mom said the
Get
same
some couple
thing.
dollars.
But it's my retirement plan. I'm planning on living off of
Hey, look for
him.
that money. My mom was
Yeah.
like, oh, so you got the show where now? Oh, hey, stop it. You try to pick in the pockets.
So you're on that show. So you build me a new house. Is that what
Right.
you're doing?
I need this porch.
You making something?
The porch is kind of squeaky.
Right. My washing machine
Right.
is not working right now.
Man, it's amazing because your parents think my mom thinks I'm just the coolest shit ever, and I was like, Mom, let me tell you something. It ain't what you think it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, stop.
No.
I'm out here working. This is a job. It really is a job.
It's work. It is
Well,
work.
I appreciate you taking time to
real.
hang out
Yes.
with us here on the
Anytime.
Pops and the Rican show.
Anytime.
And we will
Anytime.
continue to watch where your career goes, and
sure.
mostly so we can say, hey, you remember when he was on the Pops and the
He
Rican
was
show?
on our show.
He had his
Just
big
saying.
break right here on the
I'm
Pops
just
and the
saying.
Rican show.
Right here.
Right.
And please support, for all the watchers, support these guys. Start your own podcast if you got
Right.
to. It's dope.
Right.
It's dope.
You start your own podcast, but
Don't do it.
do it about something other than what we're doing.
Right.
We don't need that competition right now.
We will
don't need-
support everything you're doing if you're doing a cooking show.
Cooking podcast.
Yeah, cooking podcast or gardening podcast. We'll
Something
support
like that.
that. We will support you.
Right.
Oh
100%.
man, and we'll even talk about it on the Pops and the Rican show if you want.
right.
We're givers
Network.
like that.
Right.
So anyway,
We take care of our own around here.
Right. Exactly.
well, we appreciate you hanging out with
Yeah,
us,
man,
appreciate
and
For real.
Thank you. Thank you. Having fun.
Awesome.
I'm going to come rock with you guys tonight.
For real.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Just send me the address.
Yeah. Okay. We'll hit you
6
up.
o'clock, it ain't that shit. I'm up now. I have been asleep for a while because it's a long road. It's comedy. People don't see that side.
Right.
They don't see that side.
You
Traveling.
traveling. Yeah.
2 hours of sleep. And it's like, oh, shit. Gotta get up. Let me get up. Boom. They don't see the Red Bulls and the
Right.
flights. And
Right.
they
Right.
don't
And
see
you got to get up and got to do 45 minutes.
Right. They don't see none of that. They don't-
Right.
They think it's just fun. Right. Like, oh, let me tell you something. This is a job.
It's work.
It's a job.
It's work. But the thing is, you're in it because of that love. It's not necessarily this grind of, I gotta get enough.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I'm doing it because this is what it takes to get there. But at the same time, I'm not, I'm not tripping at the fact this is who I am.
so keep sharing the love, keep sharing
rocking
the
it,
laughs.
man. Yep.
Thank
So they can find you online, right?
Yes. Mario Tory, Tory, Mario Tory, all social medias, website, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Mario Tory.
And the tour, what was the tour name again that you're going to be in?
Anybody want to tell me? Anybody want to tell me, tour? Please watch out for it. Coming to a city near you when we're everywhere.
Cool.
We coming everywhere. So and even if you don't see us in your city, hit us up and request us. We'll come.
Cool. That's what's up.
Spread the word.
Yeah, spread the word. For real.
Supporting Pops and the Rican.
Pops and the Rican.
Pops and the Rican.
Look at this. Pops and the Rican. The Pops and the Rican. What? The Pops and the Rican.
Look at the top of his head.
Pops and the Rican.
Pops and the Rican.